The CCP's fourth plenum has opened, but the entire Chinese news system has gone mute, zero footage, zero official dispatches, zero content. Xinhua ran a lone editorial, Xinwen Lianbo downplayed it, and the outside world is wondering, is it that the outcome isn't settled, factional infighting is stuck, or the pace is being deliberately controlled? From the official media's silence to tremors in the military, this meeting without images has pulled back the curtain on Zhongnanhai's eeriest quiet. Don't miss the next drop, subscribe and hit the bell. Beijing's air feels off. On the third day of the CCP fourth plenum, the whole of China is unusually quiet. No footage, no sound, no shots of the meeting venue. The state media threw out only a 100-character bulletin. Xi Jinping delivered a report. That's it? No photos from Xinhua, no front page in People's Daily, and Xinwen Lianbo merely said the international community is paying attention to the fourth plenum. As if the entire meeting didn't exist. Such a fourth plenum is unprecedented. In the past, the cameras rolled and the mouthpieces spoke in unison, but this time it's as if someone pressed the mute button. Is it because the results aren't set? Or the internal struggle is too fierce? Rumors are flying outside, military upheaval, divisions among official media, and the core report stuck in drafting. This silent meeting is becoming Beijing's most frightening sound. A meeting with no images, news with no content. If not for that short text message of a little over 100 characters, many people would hardly feel the fourth plenum had actually opened. On October 20th, the first day of the session, by past practice it should have been a mouthpieces in full swing, images and text in tandem high-profile window. Xinhua would surely publish a long official dispatch, People's Daily would run a front-page photo spread, CCTV's Xinwen Lianbo would make a special report, with wide shots of the venue, close-ups, leaders on camera, and highlighted quotes, run through the entire routine, and the outside world could at least sketch the outline. But this year it's entirely the other way around. Xinhua and People's Daily only tossed out an ultra-brief notice, the gist being the meeting has opened. The CCP leader Xi Jinping delivered a work report and provided an explanation of the 15th five-year plan recommendations. No photos, no excerpts, no venue images, as if every detail that could be interpreted was pulled out, leaving only a "we held a meeting" notice. What subtler is Xinwen Lianbo? By common sense, a plenary session of this level should be jammed into the first half of the program as a key segment. Instead, it appeared lightly in the international news section as the international community is paying attention to the fourth plenum, which amounts to shifting the lens to how others see us, rather than what we are doing. Such handling is rare, and inevitably sets imaginations running. Either the footage is unsuitable to air, or conclusions aren't set, or the internal tug-of-war is ongoing and it's unwise to set the tone too early. Xinhua did publish a long editorial that day. The title looked inspiring, with a big framework of under the leadership of a certain core, how the 15th five-year plan will ensure decisive progress in modernization. An editorial isn't unimportant, but seasoned readers know, when there's truly something to say, it's usually footage plus information points plus editorial as a combo pack. Having only an editorial and no footage often means the main course hasn't been served. You start with a bowl of hot soup to warm the table. What's more, the editorial attributes recent economic and social achievements heavily to core leadership and the correctness of the line. In political language, that's about stabilizing the base, stabilizing sentiment, expectations, and the ranks. The fuller the praise, the more it looks like preemptively plugging leaks. Viewed together, these signals look like three deliberate lows. Low visuals, zero photos, zero venue shots, to reduce the outside world's minute-by-minute reading of people, alignments, and atmosphere. Low information, under 100 characters, avoiding any details that could be extrapolated. Low placement, what should have been a top headline is downgraded to the corners of Xinwen Lianbo. Why handle it so lightly? There are three readings. First, the outcome isn't finalized. The core documents, personnel lists, or wording are still being polished and not suitable for release. Second, internal pressure is high. The existing footage or content isn't suitable for public exposure to avoid overinterpretation. Third, deliberate pace control. Push attention toward the end. Release one decisive communique on the last day to reduce mid-course noise and variables. Put bluntly, this isn't an absence of information but a choice of information. At a highly sensitive juncture, choosing no images, no materials, no emotion is tantamount to pressing mute on the public narrative. The muting itself is a signal: don't rush, don't jump to conclusions, the real period might only appear on that final communique. But the modern public sphere is pragmatic. When the authorities reduce material for discussion, the public fills holes with speculation. That also explains why, on the same day, various versions of spoilers and rumors clearly heated up. From a communication studies perspective, extreme simplification of information inevitably leads to the informalization of public opinion. When you offer only a headline, people will imagine the content and the ending. This quiet handling has, paradoxically, raised the attention. What to watch next? Two things. First, whether the official media's pacing suddenly ramps up, whether there will be last-minute long-form dispatches or footage. Second, the final day's communiqué, its length, density of wording, and avoided topics. These details often carry more information than slogans. Division behind the silence. Although on the surface official media are silent, in practice the entire propaganda system has shown inconsistent tone. Around the opening of the fourth plenum, Xinhua, late at night, issued two long pieces, one lavishing praise on the core, another proclaiming that historic achievements were made during the 14th five-year plan period under Xi Jinping's leadership, with Xi's name mentioned more than 20 times. Yet that same night, China's four major commercial portals, Sina, Sohu, NetEase, and Phoenix, conspicuously avoided the three characters Xi Jinping. This rare contrast is like different notes appearing within the same band. The main melody remains an ode, but the accompaniment has gone quiet. In a propaganda system known for a unified line, such disharmony is itself a signal of an imbalance of power. If Xinhua's articles were propping up the stage, then the four major portals' silence looks more like passive resistance. The official propaganda appears unified on the surface, but fissures have already emerged in reality. At the same time, this dual phenomenon of silence division happens to echo the turmoil within the military. In the 3 days before the fourth plenum convened, 9 generals, including CMC vice chairs He Weidong and Miao Hua, were officially announced as expelled from the party. These 9 were personally selected and promoted by Xi Jinping. Some were even fast-tracked loyalists. As a result, the Central Military Commission is left with only Zhang Youxia, Lu Zhenli, and Zhang Shengmin, virtually a power cliff in the military. Against such a backdrop, silence is no longer just a propaganda strategy but a pressure response. The fourth plenum is indeed being held, but it looks more like a meeting maintaining order at gunpoint. The outside world sees no footage because the map of power behind the camera is being violently redrawn. Rumors flying, overseas forums pry open the plenum's vacuum. The fourth plenum has been going on for 3 days, and the communiqué is expected today, but spoilers and rumors outside are still going wild. Some say Xi Jinping will hand over military power, some think the 9 generals were dealt with ahead of time as the anti-Xi camp's opening move, others assert that unexpected personnel changes will appear and the core will be replaced. Scholar Wu Zuolai believes that rumors can form and spread because they have become a kind of popular culture of resistance. He said this in remarks at the China Forum. The China Forum was held in Los Angeles on October 18, organized by the Dialogue China think tank and the June 4 Memorial Museum, co-sponsored by the Liberty Bell Foundation, the Chinese Democracy Party National Joint Headquarters, and the CCP Central Committee in Exile's LA branch. The forum hosted 3 discussions, the second of which was the fourth plenum and China's future situation. Moderator Wu Zuolai pointed out that the reason rumors are rampant around the fourth plenum lies in the high opacity of CCP politics. Citing French scholar Jean-Noël Kapferer's book Rumors, he said that in a closed society, rumor is a weapon. Whether true or false, these rumors all point to one phenomenon: they are a form of popular resistance, a culture. The presence of these voices serves to tarnish the CCP's power structure. In other words, in a system where power does not allow people to speak, rumors become a way for ordinary people to express attitudes and release pressure. Current affairs commentator Xing Shuguang argues that opaque politics inevitably breeds rumors. The spread of rumors is directly related to the CCP's underground party style. He noted that the fourth plenum was originally supposed to be held in 2024 but was inexplicably postponed by a year. Right before the meeting, 9 generals, including CMC vice chairs personally promoted by Xi, were expelled from the party and the military, an upheaval extremely rare in CCP history. Xing said, major deliberations are never publicly displayed, but hashed out in backroom deals before the meeting. For this reason, society can only rely on guessing. He analyzed that there are 2 explanations for the 9 generals. One holds it was the anti-Xi faction's move, the other that Xi himself purged them. Xing leans toward the latter. He had to remove them, even if he didn't want to. But doing so causes the entire political balance to be severely skewed, concentrating power in Zhang Youxia's hands instead. He described this as generating in Xia's psychological shadows similar to Mao's toward Lin Biao, indicating that CCP politics has entered a state of extreme uncertainty. Independent commentator Wu Jianmin pointed out that among the 9 fallen generals, many came from Xi's own base, the 31st Group Army. He believes Xi's move is cutting off his own limbs, reflecting intense insecurity and a Stalinist end-times mindset. Wu said, he no longer trusts anyone, not even his closest subordinates. Anyone could be a Lin Biao at his bedside. He went further. In communist states, such political purges often occur before power transfer or collapse. Before the lid is lifted, you won't know who is anti-Xi, but it will certainly be those closest to him, holding critical levers of power. Writer Su Xiaokong argues that the heavy rumor mill accompanying the 4th plenum precisely indicates that CCP politics has fallen into deep crisis. We cannot know the truth, but what's certain is that Chinese politics has reached a very dangerous edge. He stressed he doesn't care who's up or down, but when China can realize constitutionalism and civil liberties. Former Hong Kong reporter Ching Chong approached it from the rule of law angle, saying that the CCP's institutionalized falsehoods are the root of rumor breeding. He gave an example. The CCP enacted a constitution in 1954, but the following year the Supreme People's Court ordered that the constitution shall not be cited in trials, rendering it a mere ornament. Hong Kong is similar. Ching said that previously, Hong Kong's Court of Final Appeal could rely on the basic law, the city's mini-constitution, to defend freedom and democracy, but after the national security law, the NPC stipulated that the CFA has no power of judicial review over NSL-related cases. Ching believes that without a genuine rule of law environment, no amount of constitutional text is more than decoration. In such a system, opacity itself is the biggest rumor. From the 9 generals being expelled to rumor politics. Participants shared the view that the reason rumors erupted around this 4th plenum isn't only the amplification effect of the internet, but the regime's deliberate creation of an information vacuum. When the truth is compressed into a 100-character bulletin, when reporters are excluded from the venue, rumors will grow organically. As one scholar said at the forum, in a system that doesn't tell the truth, rumors are effectively the people's press release. In a sense, the 4th plenum is not only an internal power conference, but also a kind of politics of imagination for the outside society. The 4th plenum hasn't even ended, yet the air is already filled with conclusions. The authorities don't speak, the people speak, the media don't report, social platforms craft sentences. The real issue isn't that there are too many rumors, but too little truth. From the official media's unusually low profile, to the serial purges in the military, to the outside world's heated debates, pieced together, this is not merely a snapshot of a political meeting, but a psychological cross-section of an entire system. When power must rely on muting to maintain stability, when the truth is condensed into a 100-character bulletin and then an editorial is used to repeatedly emphasize the core instability, it means instability already exists. Rumors may not be true, but they reveal true anxiety. Silence may not be stability, often it is another form of chaos. When information is pressed to the lowest point, every detail, every silence, every rumor, is composing a new narrative. The official communiqué may appear today, but for the outside world, this meeting without images has already written its own footnote. It shows not just who holds power, but how the system strains to make itself still look in power.